everybody knows how annoying it is when you have bounced emails that pause your campaigns. Like it just kills your soul. And especially if you're buying leads, you're buying leads if you're getting leads and you don't know where those are coming from. So a lot of times you're scraping them and then you're just taking a wide variety of them and you're not like, this is just not chill. So this is a way around that. Okay, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to go over the one and only email outreach system to get verified leads for cold email outreach that you will ever need. All the steps, how to build it, everything you need to do to get this done. It's made in 2 steps here. So we have the first step where we're going to have the inputted leads, which is a scrape. So if you use Phantom Buster or whatever you use, you have all the leads here from LinkedIn Sales Navigator. We have a total of 963. So you have all these in this Google Sheet. So then once we have these leads, we're going to input it into this Google Sheet module in make.com. It's going to send it to this OpenAI module, which all this is doing is it's cleaning up their names so we can input them into an email finder and actually find their emails. So a lot of these names have like emojis and they're super anal. So like I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Like PT, so it has like their job description, their certifications, whatever. So once that's done, it's going to put it into a set multiple variables. So this is just the export. This is the export we're using to put into the final Google Sheet where we're going to have all the information we want. So full name, company name, title, summary, title description, person location, and company location. So after that's done, we're going to come into this HTTP make a request. I'm not going to show this, but I'm going to go over it. The API key, the bearer token, so I'll show you guys how to input all that, and then webhook. This is just the JSON that you'll have to do. I'll have that for you guys. This is just the information that we're taking and what we're exporting into the webhook. So then it's coming into this scenario. And the reason we have it in 2 scenarios is make.com only runs for about 45 minutes. And if it's longer than that, it times out. So to fix that, you're basically breaking it up into 2. So this is running, fixing all their names and finding their emails. Once it finds them, it's sending to this webhook, which we have immediately as data arrives, it will run. And this is going to, if success is true, which if it finds the email, it's going to come through here to HTTP make a request, which is Email Guard. I'll show you guys how to hook that up. This is free. This is just to make sure that's a real email in the first place. So if it is, it sends it to this router, and we have it broken up into 2 systems. So the main reason we have it broken into 2 systems is Google, and mainly Google. Google is really anal with a lot of these cold email outreach AI websites, softwares that you can use. So like instantly they'll know what they're coming from, so they'll target them more directly, and that means that you're going to have more bounce rates, and then you're going to basically have the campaign paused. And once that's paused, you got to go through and reset it all. Not only that, but it hurts your account health. So then you're more likely to bounce in the future. And if the placement's horrible, and then you go to spam, and then everything just goes downhill. And so if you don't have a lot of accounts running, this can really hurt you. So I have it separated from Microsoft and other servers to Google. So then if it's going through Google and Email Guard's verified it's true, the validations is valid and the success is true, which basically means it went through Email Guard and Email Finder, it's good to go. It'll just go straight to create an icebreaker depending on what's in their LinkedIn bio, all the work they've done. It'll scrape their whole profile to figure out what's going on, and then it will continue on to the Google Sheet. If not, it will go through Never Bounce and it will test to make sure that the email is verified. This is like a second checkup, and if that's good and it's checked it in success, it will push it through the icebreaker, put in the same exact Google Sheet, as all these are going into the same Google Sheet, which is right here, which I have laid out. So we have 2 pages to this Google Sheet. We have Google and Microsoft and others. This is the company name, first name, last name, title, summary, title description, company location, person location, email, validation, success, icebreaker. So this is all the information we're exporting. If you guys utilize like DMing on LinkedIn and whatnot, you can change that, because in the scrape you have the person's direct LinkedIn URL. So all you would do for that is just come into the variables in the first step, which is set multiple variables, and it will have you can input it here, just add an item, and then you're going to want to save that from the original Google Sheet. Now this is a lot. I'm going to go through every single step to make this step by step, everything you need to do. But if you're feeling lazy and you don't really want to do that, I have the downloads for it in my community right here where you can download the JSON for both of them. I'll still go over how to hook up the APIs, so you just have to plug those in and make accounts. It's really easy. And it'll have all the links to everything you need to do. So you have make.com, email finder, and email guard, never bounce, OpenAI, which is for the icebreakers, and then instantly if you decide to use that, if you use something else, doesn't matter. It all works the same. So, and then I'll have all the documentation in JSON. Email guard, we have the JSON right here that you need to type out, so you need to format that correctly. And then there's a couple other ones like here in the HTTP email guard, you have this, which is super easy, so you don't really need that. And then in the never bounce, that's easy. So yeah, I'll go through and I will show you guys this running firsthand. So we're going to save. So we have this Google Sheet, which is complete. So all you're going to want to do with this is in the very first step, we're searching directly from my drive. So you can just select the name of it and then the sheet name. And then you're going to want to do the amount you're pulling from. So 963. That's easy. But for the second one, we're pulling from here, it's sheet ID. So we're taking the ID at the top in the link. It's before this slash right here and the other slash. So this value right here is what you're going to want to copy, and you're going to want to input it here in the sheet ID and then have the sheet name in here. So all this is the export information. So this is just going, it's just the same as this up on the top. And yeah, I'll hit play and we will watch this run. So I'm going to hit save. We're going to back it up because this is how we can see all the operations running. We go up here, we hit run. We got 14, 15, 16, 17, and then if we come here, we have it running through, so we see all the operations running. It's adding emails as we speak, so that was a bad one, so we ignored it. We got another one, and then if we come into here, we see them popping up. So we have the company name, we have their first name, last name, if it's initial, just what they're showing, their title, their summary about what they have in their information, and then the title description of what they do, their company location, so this is Monroe, Michigan, their person location, I don't know what that says, New Jersey, which doesn't make sense, maybe they grew up there, and then their email, which was certified and valid, success true, validation valid, and then we have the icebreaker. So this we can input into Instantly AI if that's what you use, and then it'll add all here. So these are Microsoft and others. This is Google. And yeah, so I'm going to hit stop here. So it doesn't keep running. So the two we need here, we have Any Mail Finder, which you have credits. So the good thing about this, other than Hunter.io or any other system you can use, is Hunter.io, regardless if it actually finds the email or not, it will use it as a credit. This only uses verified emails as credits. Granted, this is a little bit more pricey. I think for about 5,000, it's like 150 a month, which is just the price. I mean, 150. If you're getting all these leads where no one else is getting them, it's worth it. Then Never Bounce, you have credits, which I have 960 here. This is fairly cheap as well. Let's go to buy credits. Yeah, so this is extremely cheap. So this is $8 for 1,000. That's more than enough. 40 for 5,000. These are just like a second-hand checkup. So a lot of times you're not even going to need them, but they just make sure they're verified and they're better that way. And then Email Guard is free. So to start out, I'm going to go step by step, but like I said, if you want to just download this and save a lot of time, if you come into the link at the top of the description, you can find this system download along with the notes, and I'll add all the JSON in here. If you guys want to add those, all the API links, they will be added, they will be included in the JSON, so you don't really need those, but it'll just help set it up. We have the links here to set everything up as well, so you can just go here directly, excuse me, and get all the documentation that you need. I also have about 20 other systems here that you can copy from automatic email responder to TikTok automation, a lot of short form automation, MCP servers, which is basically an all-in-one agent, which you can just tell it what you want it to do, have it connected to one thing, and it'll run it. Some of these are in N8N, some of these are in Make. I also have a lot coming soon that I'm working on at the moment. So I have Telegram, I have Cold Call Bot, which is a big one, appointment setting bot, which is all via phone, AI website developer. So this basically, if you're in the developer space and you're making websites, this automatically makes a demo for them that you can send out to customers. And then VoiceFlow website agent, which is basically just the little chat box in the middle. This is what that is. And then the job scraper. So the job scraper is just another system like this, which I'll go to in the future, which when you're pulling leads from LinkedIn or say Google Maps, a lot of these people are just shot in the dark. Like you're just nagging them, being like, "Hey, I offer this. If you want it, hit me up." But for the job scraper, it pulls it from job websites, so like Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Glassdoor jobs, and it finds people in whatever niche you're looking for that are actually currently hiring, takes that person, finds their email, their work email, and then it allows you to contact them directly and offer your services and be like, I know you're hiring something like this, so if you offer a bunch of AI agents, you can just be like, oh, I offer this. You don't have to hire someone. I'll do this for a fraction of the cost, and then you can do it that way. So yeah, I have this for LinkedIn, and this is mainly for LinkedIn. And then I have another system that I have built out for Google Maps, but I will get to that in a future video. So to start, let's get into it. So to start here, you're going to start with a Google Sheet. And I'm just going to walk through it instead of building it all since I have it here, just make the video shorter. Um, if you can't figure out how to just make this, like just click add module and then type in Google Sheet, like right here, and then search rows, which it all says this specific node that it needs to be at the bottom. So in those black letters is what you want to copy. If you can't figure out how to do that, then I guess you should just stop watching this video. This won't delete. There we go. All right. So we have a Google Sheet email. We're gonna have the scheduler on this module. So in here we have the Google Sheet connection, which is super easy. It all is built within make.com, so you can just log in directly from there, and then it will show you all your Google Sheets that you have on your account, so you can select from. So you're gonna do search method, select from my drive, spreadsheet ID, wellness scrape. This is just the one I did to show you for the demo, and then the sheet name, which is just result 28. Table contains headers, yes. Column range A to CZ. Filter, no filter. Sort order, ascending, and then the limit. This just depends on how many you have inside your Google Sheet. I went over this earlier in the beginning of the video. Yeah, there you go. So once that's done, you're going to save it. Next step, you're going to come to another module. The next module is going to be an OpenAI create a completion module. So in here, all you have to do is connect your OpenAI account. So I'll have the link. The link I provide for this is in here. You can also just find it anywhere right here. Just go to openai.com API and in here we have the create a completion module select method. We're doing the model. We're doing GPT 3.5 Turbo, which is just the most efficient for this case. And then so in the messages, you're going to start with the developer system and then a user. So these are just basically the commands you're giving it, like the prompt if you're prompting it, and then these are basically the instructions you want to give it. So we tell it that's an expert intelligent writing assistant, and then we're going to go to message 2. User, properly format the name, remove emojis, if present, fix capitalization, only output the name. So then we go to message 3, excuse me. We have user, we have an example, and see the more examples you give it, the better it is, just because this doesn't really think for itself, it just goes off patterns. So if it has more examples and it catches something that's a little wobbly about, it won't make errors and then it won't mess everything up. So then we have the user 3 and message 4. This is the way it's found inside the sheet. So if we go up here, let me see if I can. This is from a previous sheet. So we have John Brent Walker, and then we have the assistant. It's a user, then assistant. We have John Brent Walker. So this is the export. So this is what we want it to input into an email finder. So you want to get rid of those emojis. Then we have another user message, and that's this shit palong. I don't know how to say that. C. We have the assistant role, and you're going to input shit palong C without the little goofy emojis. And then we have one more user message, Leonard Tau DMD, and we're going to just export that. And then one more user, Stefan Albanese PT DPT, and then the assistant, Stefan Albanese. And then one more, and then I did a lot here. So there's like 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you guys can pause this as you need to input these all yourself. But for this, I would recommend when you have a Google Sheet, the very first Google Sheet you're running, just take examples. When you have a scrape like this, just take examples from that first sheet you run and input it into here, just so when it's going through, it kind of teaches it so it has it into the memory base. And then we have the user full name, and then max completion tokens, we want 128. So once that's done, you're going to then select multiple variables tool. So you just search that up and you input that. So we're going to do item 1, variable name, full name. Make sure it's spelled like this. And then you're going to input the node from the previous. So this, what we do here is these little JSON, if you type it into the link bar, you can see it's in the squiggly brackets. This you're going to find from the previous step. So we're taking the full name from this Google Sheet. If you hover over, it'll bounce around. Then we're taking the company name, which will bounce around from there. So this is all being found from here. All these you can just click, select, and you're good. So you guys can copy this as you go through. And then you have title, which is the title F. Sometimes these letters might be different. Just make sure you just select title. So right here, where's title? Title right here. So you're just gonna take the title, and then summary. Now for this, make sure, because we want it to be on a new line when it imports it. So we're gonna replace. These functions can be found in here. So you're just going to go, or replace. Is replace in here? Yeah, replace is right here. So replace, and then you're going to do summary from this step, which you can select and find. And then you're going to do a colon, semicolon, new line, semicolon, space, which is all here. So space, new line. And then you're going to want to replace those double quotes with single quotes. So then here, moving on, we have item 5, title description. Same thing, double quote and single quote. We're going to put a space between those. And then variable name, person location, we just have the location, company location, company location. Easy as that. So once that's done, we're going to come into an HTTP make a request. So in here, you're going to want to go to this link right here, anymailfinder.com, and you're going to want to set that up. So in here, if you go to API and you click this API button, it will give you the API, your API key that you'll put in this value right here. So in the headers, you're going to put authorization, bearer, and then you're going to put that API key right here. And then it's going to be a post request as a method. And then for this URL, you can find that in their documentation. If not, I'll provide it inside of the community. So you just paste this in here. You go to anymailfinder.com, API documentation, you'll just find this link. This is the one you need for the post request. And then we're going to hook up a webhook, which I'll get into in a second. And then this is the JSON that you need. So you have raw, body type, content type, JSON, application/JSON, which is the content type. And then we have the request content. So you have company name, and then we have it with a colon, and then a space, and then parentheses, comma. You're just going to input the JSON like so. So just copy that, parse response, no, save, good to go. So this step, I was going to show this right here. You're going to do x-webhook-url, and you're going to take this webhook. This is coming from here. So you're just going to copy this address to clipboard, and you're going to paste it in here, and you're just going to want to type out this name right as it is, like so. So x webhook URL. Make sure the capitals are where they should be, and then you will end up here. So maximum number of results. So when I'm using Phantom Buster, the most I did off of LinkedIn Sales Navigator was 2,500, because more than that, your account can get flagged. And even sometimes if you're not doing it regularly and you're not doing it in the time of like a working day, so let's say 9 to 6, granted, it's just got to be where you're currently located. So if you're West Coast, that time, East Coast, that time, there's a 3-hour difference there. So just make sure you're doing it that. I wouldn't do 2,500 a day. I would make sure you're doing it during work days, not weekends, because that can also raise a red flag. And then maybe start with like 500, 500, 500, 1,000. Also, in my community, I have a way to get these leads for free from Phantom Buster, so you don't have to pay. There's an exploit. Don't tell anybody. Anyways, so once you have that done, you're just going to accept leads from this webhook, you're just going to create this webhook. It's a custom webhook, and you're just going to connect it, copy address to clipboard, paste it in the other scenario, save, and you're good to go. So in here we have a filter where it says if success equals true. We have success, which is coming from this webhook. So if we click here, we just have success. That's all you're going to copy. Equals to true. So once that's done, it's going to come to this another HTTP make request. We have email guard. I have the link. Under this link right here, emailguard.io, you can find the documentation for this URL that you need, as well as to get your value, your API key. So you're going to want to put in, it's going to be a post method, and you're going to want to put the name as authorization, make sure that's capitalized, and then bearer space your API. I'm blurring this out because that's mine to know and you not to know. And then we have content type, another item, and this is all under headers. We have another item, we have name, content dash type, application JSON, this can all be lowercase, and then body type raw, content type JSON, application JSON. And then the JSON right here, we just have a squirrely bracket, and then spaced out, we have email, parentheses, result email, which is coming from this webhook, and then another bracket. And then parse response, we're going to put yes. So once that's done, we're going to come in here to a router. This router is going to separate the options for our result to go through. So to start with number one, we have this is if success equals true and validation valid, it will be Google. So if it's not equal to Google, then it will go up this way. So we have success equals the condition, which is success coming from that webhook, equals to true, and result validation is equal to valid, and data host email is not equal to Google. It will send it through here, and then it will continue on. So I'll go through one at a time. It'll pretty much be the same, but just very, very slight differences on all these filters. And all these create icebreakers are the exact same. So you guys can just make this once and then copy it over 4 times. So in here, you just connect your OpenAI account, and you just do create a chat completion, ChatGPT, and I'm using 4.0 for this one just because it's a little bit smarter, because the other one was just fixing names. This is actually writing a personalized icebreaker. So we have the first message is the role developer system. We're saying again that you are an expert intelligent writing assistant. We have the user role here. This is not a developer system. Up here we have a user role, and we're basically telling it write a personalized icebreaker to be used in cold email. Use a provided LinkedIn profile as information. Here we have succinct. I hope that's how you say it, but that's just another synonym for like concise. You can look up fancy words if you want to change it. Just I don't know. There's no reason to do that. But then casual, informal, and use a Spartan tone of voice. Respond in JSON only, end with some variation of figured I'd reached out, relate personalization back to the user to simulate some type of interest. So that is going to be the user role. Then we come down here, we're going to do another user role, and we're going to give it an example. So you're going to hard code this. You can copy all of this JSON copy all that JSON from right here from the email guard. An email finder. Just take this JSON and you're going to get rid of these little box selections, and you're going to input it and then you're just going to input it into this text content. So for the full name, we're just giving examples of some icebreakers that we would write that we want to kind of copy and make variations of. So also again, pull this from your sheet, just go through their summary and their basically what they do, all the stuff they've been part of, and give an example. So we have company name, Quantum Fields, title, owner and operator, summary, I support my clients to live a vibrantly healthy life, self-empowered. So you just copy and paste from the Google Sheet directly. And then we have all that information. It goes on and goes on. And then we have title description. Just input all that all these variables that are found inside this Google Sheet, just paste directly into this where you find the JSON from the AnyMail Finder on the previous scenario. And then we go down to the assistant role, and we're just going to put into brackets icebreaker, hey Claudia, -n. This just means space. So basically it just goes to a new line. Love your dedication and passion for putting emphasis on living a balanced life. Your experience and holistic and spiritual way of living caught my eye. Figured I'd reach out. Then we give it another example. So you're going to take that JSON again. You're going to input the variables and the information found into that from that spreadsheet, and you're just going to do another assistant role. Hey Shane, new line. Your track record with restaurant startup and management systems is very impressive. As someone who makes an effort at being skilled at all realms of business myself, I figured I'd reach out. So depending on what niche you're in, you're going to want to change this up depending on what you're reaching out for. So if it's real estate, you're going to want to change it up. These are just pretty broad, so these kind of hit all realms, just not very niche specific. So if you want to get really niche specific, you can do that. All right. Sorry. Oh God, I'm gonna throw up. Okay, so we have message 7, role, text content. We have full name, input full name. This is coming from here, so if you hover over it, see it jiggle, see it wiggle over there. So we have full name. You just copy this again from the AnyMail Finder, JSON, and just input these coming from the webhook, because we're just carrying on the information. The only thing we're finding that's new is the email, but from the previous step, this webhook is just pulling all the data that we want to save from the previous scenario, which is the Google Sheet that we got the information in the first place. You're going to do text format, max completion tokens 256, temperature we're going to want to do 0.8. So the higher the temperature, the more creative and more risque this LLM will get. So we don't want this to be too creative. We want to be more creative than the other one. So the other one was like 0.3 for the fixed names, just because it's not that hard. You just have to be very specific. We don't want these names to have emojis when we're emailing them, because that just is like, why is bro copying the emails for my name? There's in the no, raise a little bit of red flags. So just make that 0.8, and then going down, that's done. So then we have to parse to JSON here. So this will just basically take the JSON that we had inputted and export it into this Google Sheet. So we're basically just taking the result from this, which is the icebreaker, and we're just going to basically have result in here. So it takes the icebreaker, parses a JSON, and then it can actually be added to the Google Sheet. So then here, I think I showed you how to add this. If not, I'll show you again right now. So in here, you have your Google Sheet with all the new leads. You're just going to copy this link in between these brackets. Not this link, I'm sorry, this variable, this string of numerals. And you're going to input it here into sheet ID, others, and then the values, we just are going to copy exactly what I have here. So A, B, C, first name, last name, everything. We just have company name, which is coming from that webhook. You can click here, go to the webhook, select it. First name, get, split, full name. So the reason we're doing get, split, and then the space, and then 1 is because we want to separate full name into first name, last name, like we have here. So we have first name, last name, as shows here. So what you're going to want to do is just, again, go to this option right here. You can do get, which should be in here. Get right here. There it is. So general functions, and you might have to look around. So get is right here, and then we're going to want to go back to here, the text binary functions, which will have split right here. So then you're going to input full name, semicolon, space, which is right here, and then another, these parentheses will come with it when you put split in. So you just want to click in and insert it directly between them, and then another semicolon, then 1, because that's the first name, and then same exact thing, just copy paste. Then you're going to put 2, because that'll be second name. Then you're going to want to make sure you name these the values when you input them. So you're going to want to do input title, input summary, title description, company location, person location. Then this is the result email that we got, the results, which is validation, success, and then the icebreaker, which is coming from the result of this JSON. So this icebreaker right here, after it gets parsed, the icebreaker gets parsed through JSON, it'll just input it here. And then if you want to save their LinkedIn and maybe, do I have their company website on here? Yeah, if you want to add their company website as well, you would just add that selection. You just add that here, and then you just add an option up here in the top row. So if you want their LinkedIn so you can DM them, reach out to them that way, you can do so. All right, so then going on, we have the second, which is this is also for Google. So if success is true, which is coming from email guard, but validation is not valid, which I'll go in here and show you. So success equal to true and validation not equal to valid. Email host is not equal to Google. I'm sorry, this is Microsoft. I keep getting the two confused. We're gonna go to a Never Bounce. So Never Bounce API, I have that right here. So you can click this, make an account. It will look like this. You can just buy credits. It's not a subscription. You just basically use what you pay for what you use. For this, you're gonna want to go to integrate, create new app, and you're gonna want to do custom integration. Click this. And then once you make that app, you're just going to come in here to your API key, open that up, and then you can input it and hook up everything right here. You can just log into your account, and you're good to go. Then we have the email. This is just coming from the webhook, so you see it bounce around. Include address info, yes. Include credits info, no. So that's the only difference. So you're going to have that into one for the Microsoft, one for Google. And then you're going to copy that icebreaker. Nothing changes. We have a check. So this check condition result, if it's equal to invalid, or result is equal to disposable, or result is equal to unknown, it will not go through. So if it's invalid, disposable email, unknown email, or just it went through and they got some sort of blocker on spam or whatever reason, it just flags it. It will get rid of that, and then you won't have to worry about it. I'm so thirsty. All right. So yeah, that will go through. This JSON is all the same. Just make sure you're pulling it from this, the previous icebreaker. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to join. I'll have a link down below for my Twitter. If you want to DM me on there and ask any questions, I'm more than happy to help you guys with those. If you want to come the top link into the WAP, I have all the information here. I also have a Telegram where you can chat to me in there. You guys can also download it, and I have a bunch of other things coming, so you guys can download those too. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions on anything, feel free to leave a comment as well. And that's all for now. Peace.